Hello again, this is Kingston Town Administrator Keith Hickey with the latest update on This Week in Kingston. Thanks very much for watching. Today, we're not going to have any guests with me. We're just going to try to spend a few minutes trying to explain to everybody what's happening in town. Make sure you're on top of things and can participate when you'd like to. As far as the Board of Selectmen goes, they've been meeting pretty regularly. We're trying to finalize collective bargaining agreements that could be brought forward to town meeting for consideration. There's also been a lot of discussion about the property on Winthrop Street. There continues to be changes that are occurring with the status of that property. Most recently, the Attorney General's office heard a request to reinstate the deed restrictions that were on the property that significantly reduced the ability to make any changes to that Boy Scout property out there in off of Winthrop Street. That was part of the subdivision that would have occurred in the 46-acre development that's been proposed and discussed by the Board of Selectmen and others with regards to the development of that property, which has consistently been in Chapter 61A conservation land. As many of you are aware, the owner has to offer that property to the town first. The town has not exercised its right of first refusal yet. Because they've been gathering information and trying to make a determination on how to best make a decision on whether or not to purchase that property. There's been a tremendous amount of outpouring from the area up there who would like to see that property remain in its current undeveloped state. And many people across town have jumped on board with their support. So the board continues to try to seek out information so they can make as sound decision as they possibly can. At this point, there's a right of first refusal for $800,000 on the 46-acre parcel. My impression is the developer was relying on the Boy Scout property to add some additional acreage that was dry land that was very buildable. With the most recent court decision that was issued last week, that Boy Scout land is no longer available for development. Which may put at risk the ability to develop that 46 acres into a profitable development for the developer. So we're working with legal counsel and others to try to seek out whether or not funds can be used from the Conservation Preservation Fund, or the funds would have to be raised through property taxes or over a debt. Long-term debt. So we are continuing to work that property. We hope to have a definitive answer with the Board of Selectmen sometime in early April, and determine whether or not the board wants to bring that forward to town meeting for a vote. The Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen continue to review budgets and have discussions about departmental budgets. Overall, I think the process is going very well. We're still on looking to have our town meeting in May. We aren't sure yet if it's going to be at the Kingston Collection or at the middle school, intermediate school, excuse me. So we'll see where that shakes out moving forward, but that decision also has to be made sometime probably in April. As far as some of the ongoing topics that we've been dealing with in town to make people aware of, again, I think I mentioned this last week. I want to mention it again because it's important. Applications for real estate exemptions through the assessor's office are due no later than April 1st at 4:30 to process them. So please, if anybody has an exemption currently or feels as though they may be eligible for exemption, ask that you contact the assessor's office either through phone, or you're more than welcome to come in. Our building is now open, the townhouse, so you're able to come in. But please take advantage of that if you have the opportunity. As far as the library goes, things are going very well there. The opening has been very successful, and they've expanded their hours. So now they're open 1 to 7 on Monday instead of 4 to 7, and Tuesday through Friday they're open from 11 to 4 rather than 1 to 4. So it's nice to see that the library is opening up. They've got a tent outside that they're going to be having activities under with social distancing, things of that nature. Kingston's still doing an amazing job at keeping the COVID rate very low. We're still remaining in yellow, but we're still doing very, very well. Hasn't been any spikes in our our COVID levels, COVID positive levels, for some time now. So the Board of Health and the fire department have been working with homebound seniors to get those individuals vaccinated. The med spa in Kingston has been vaccinating 400 to 600 people a weekend. So we've been very fortunate there to have them as a partner and helping us out, letting locals vaccinated there as well. They also had 100 teachers vaccinated at the Marshfield Fairground a couple of weeks ago. So we're looking forward to the hope and the expectation that sometime early this summer we'll be able to get back to a little bit more normal lifestyle, and some of the restrictions that we have in place now can be lifted or at least eased a bit. So please keep up the great work you're doing now, and we'll be there sooner rather than later. Beyond that, coming up in the next couple of weeks, we've got a Board of Selectmen meeting next Tuesday evening, where we'll be discussing a number of items, including whether or not to support the setting up of a stabilization fund for Silver Lake School Department, using or funding Kingston's share of some tennis court improvements, as well as some additional discussions on appointing a variety of people to different boards and commissions. And speaking of that, if anybody has any interest in serving in boards and commissions in town, we'd love to have you come forward. There are a number of board and commission openings in town, including the finance department, that we desperately need to see volunteers fill. So if you have any interest at all, please check the town website for a list of those openings, or feel free to call the town clerk's office or the town administrator's office, and we'll be happy to help you with what openings there are now that you could potentially be considered for. So again, the great weather's coming. I hope everybody stays healthy and happy, and we'll see everybody again next week. Thanks so very much for watching. Have a great day.